Welcome back to Top 5 Best. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. If you do, let me know in the comments below and I'll try to reply to as many of you as I can. 20 bizarre people you won't believe exist. Number 20. Jyoti Amge. Jyoti Amge used to be the shortest female teenager in the world until she turned 18 and became the shortest woman in the world. Standing at 2 feet and half an inch, Jyoti has achieved worldwide fame as a result of her condition. Her short stature is a result of achondroplasia, one of the main causes of dwarfism. Jyoti's fame earned her a role on the 4th season of American Horror Story, where she played Ma Petite. Number 19. Amazon Eve. Erica, also known as Amazon Eve, is the tallest model in the world. She's 6 foot and 7 inches, which is taller than most men. That may have something to do with her actually being a man in her earlier life. She is transgender and completed her transition from male to female. When she first got into acting, she found that most people wanted to cast her as a monster or alien, so decided to become a fitness trainer and model instead. After finding fame, she was quickly cast as the powerful and beautiful woman Amazon Eve in American Horror Story. Number 18. Abigail and Brittany Hensel. You'd be forgiven to mistake Abigail and Brittany Hensel as one woman, or two, or maybe one and a half. From the waist down, they share one of everything. Moving upwards, it gets more complicated. They have 2 hearts, 3 lungs, 3 kidneys, 2 stomachs, and 1 large and small intestine. As far as personality, they are 2 distinct individuals with their personal likes and dislikes. They do have the ability to anticipate what the other one will be thinking. Number 17. Anita She-Hulk Florchek. A Polish strongwoman, Anita Florchek has taken the female title of strongest woman in the world. She is well built by any standard, but she doesn't look like your typical female bodybuilder. She's building her strength. Besides being able to lift much more than you ever could, she is also very adept at rolling cooking pans. Yes, she crunches frying pans with her bare hands. Anita can do 5 in 1 minute. Number 16. Mandy Giant Leg Sellers. Mandy Sellers, British rarity, was born with a genetic disorder where her legs never stopped growing, and now they're so heavy it's hard for Sellers to walk. Using crutches was the only way to get around. The rest of Mandy's body is completely normal. She had part of her left leg amputated and began using a wheelchair, but the leg has started growing back. Number 15. Francisco Domingo Jaquim. Francisco Domingo Jaquim has got a very big mouth. It's not that he likes to insult people. No, he actually has a big mouth, as in the biggest one in the world according to Guinness World Records. He has the interesting ability to fit an entire 330 milliliter can of soda in his mouth, sideways. He goes further and amazes crowds by placing and removing a can of Coke from his mouth 14 times in under a minute. Number 14. Julia, the Illustrated Lady, Gnus, commonly known by the nickname The Illustrated Lady, has 95% of her body covered in tattoos and holds the Guinness record for being the most tattooed woman in the world. She was born with porphyria, a disease in which sunlight results in blistering of the skin. As the blisters often resulted in scarring, she began getting tattoos as a way to cover up the scars. Also, the tattoos do not prevent the skin from blistering as they are purely aesthetic. Number 13. Didi Treeman Kaswara. Didi Kaswara, dubbed the Tree Man because of his uncontrolled human papillomavirus, died just recently on 2016. He was 42 at the time of his death and had pounds of warts on his body that resembled tree branches. At one point, he got surgery and had 13 pounds of warts removed from his body. It allowed Kaswara to live normally and even wear flip-flops, but the warts quickly returned. He would have had to get 2 major surgeries a year for the rest of his life to keep up with the wart growth. Number 12. Asha Rapunzel Mandela. Asha Mandela was born in Trinidad and Tobago, but moved to New York later. Asha began to let her hair grow. At one point, she got sick, and the sickness lasted for 16 years. During that time, to prevent her hair breaking, she began to tie it in knots. The first time she went for the Guinness World Records, Asha forgot to untie her hair. Nonetheless, her hair broke the record at 8 feet 5 inches long. Number 11. Sultan Kosin. He is a Turkish farmer who holds the Guinness World Record for tallest living male at 8 foot 3 inches. He is so tall he needs crutches to walk, as his knees can't support him. Kosin, a 35-year-old farmer, suffers from a condition known as pituitary gigantism. In August 2010, he underwent gamma knife surgery on the tumor affecting his pituitary gland at the University of Virginia, and since then, he seems to have finally stopped growing. Number 10. Byron Schlenker. Meet Byron Schlenker and his daughter Emily, who both hold records for having the world's widest tongue. Byron's buds measure a whopping 3 inches across, the same width as a beer mat. His daughter Emily is not far behind at 2.7 inches and holds the record for the widest female tongue, while her father has the men's crown. Number 9. Christina Duckface Bray. Christina saw all those duckface pictures on the internet and decided it took too much effort to have to pucker out her lips for every one of the 1,000 selfies a day millennials take these days. The solution? Lip implants. She now has the world's biggest lips, but she's not stopping there. Christina also tattooed one side of her head, got horns implanted, and a freaky haircut to match. Number 8. Vijay Elastic Man Sharma. He is one of the most flexible people in the world. Sharma is so flexible, he was dubbed the Elastic Man. He hails from India, where he loves to drink a Coke bottle while holding it with his foot, which is wrapped around his body. Not something the average person can do, or should try. Number 7. Melvin Booth. Melvin Booth has also been recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records for the longest nails on a pair of hands. Melvin's unmanicured nails had a total length of 30 foot up until his death. That's about 1 meter of nail per finger. While growing out his nails for decades without shaping or maintaining them, his nails twisted into roughly textured yellow spirals. Number 6. Burma's tribal women. These Kayan women wear brass coils around their necks to give the impression that their necks are stretched. Having a long neck is often seen as beautiful and delightful in Kayan culture. Inside the Kayan groups, there are several tribes. The Kayan Lawi are arguably the most famous. This is the group of giraffe women from Kayan culture who became a huge tourist attraction. Number 5. Mayra Hills. Her bra size is a Mammoth 32Z. Born Mayra Hills, the 30-year-old was once a diminutive A-cup, according to Radar Online. By all accounts, she loves having the world's biggest implants. Despite what it looks like, she can sleep on her back, do sit-ups, and even drive a car. Myra said it is always an adventure to be in public with such big boobs. Number 4. Jasmine Tridevil. Total Recall. A fame-hungry young woman spent $15,000 on surgery to have a third breast added. The third breast was made from a silicone implant and skin tissue from her abdomen. She said it was hard finding someone that would do it, too, because they're breaking the code of ethics. I called like 60 doctors. Nobody wanted to do it. To be fair, I wouldn't want to either. Number 3. Gary Turner Stretch. Gary Turner was born in Caistor, Lincolnshire, UK in 1971. Gary is able to stretch the skin of his stomach to a distended length of 6.25 inches due to a rare medical condition called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a disorder of the connective tissues affecting the skin and internal organs. Number 2. Lucky Diamond Rich. New Zealander Diamond was not born with any tattoos, but you'd never believe it if you saw him yourself. He is officially recognized as the most tattooed person in the world by Guinness World Records. Lucky Rich has now tattooed 100% of his body. Every piece of exposed skin he has is covered in ink. In total, he's spent the equivalent of 45 days in the tattoo artist's chair. Number 1. no small feat is Chandra Bahadur Dangji. Chandra Bahadur died very recently, but until then he was the shortest man in the world. Chandra was born in Nepal and stood at 1 foot and 10 inches. At one point was photographed with Jyoti Amge, the world's smallest woman. Chandra lived to be 75 years old, an amazing feat for the world's shortest. And that was the list of bizarre people you wouldn't believe exist.
Go, guys.
Don't forget, if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and hit that like button. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.
Bye.